And now we have realized one thing, our job is process improvement. If we are engineer or any professional, we call ourselves as business analyst, quality engineer, quality manager, operations head, right, general manager. We call us in different names, but what's our job? Process improvement, because the business results comes from the business process. Business results comes from the business process. It is marketing, it is production, it is assembly, it is packaging, it is billing, and everything is a process. So process means a set of activities that are performed under specified conditions. Thereby, the inputs are converted into desired form of outputs, the so-called products and services. Process has got two parameters. One is effectiveness. Another one is efficiency. Effectiveness is nothing but accuracy. What I want to produce, I should actually produce the same thing. This is called accuracy, or you can also call it effectiveness. For example, I want to make a coffee. I want to make a coffee, for my customers. I am running a restaurant. I prepared a coffee, and my customers are loving my coffee. They are happily, paying for the coffee. That means my process is fantastic. My process is very effective. Any customer, anytime comes to my restaurant, they enjoy my coffee. I have such a level of capability in coffee making. This is called process effectiveness. Suppose if I don't maintain the effectiveness, what will happen? Every 2 or 3 customer out of every 10, they will fire me, because the coffee is not tasting good, the strongness is not good, the sweetness is not good, the temperature is not good. There are several problems, with problems in my coffee, and I serve my coffee, with all these problems. My process is now ineffective. It is fundamentally, the ineffectiveness is termed as defect from the customer point of view. So what is a defect? The ineffectiveness of your process. There are non-conformances in your product according to the customer requirement. Customer has got certain CTQs. In a coffee, the taste is important. The sweetness is important. The strongness is important. The temperature is important. You should find a way to measure everything. You should find a way to measure everything, isn't it? And then your actual product should be according to the specification. Then only when 100 customer walks into your restaurant, all 100 will be happy. Otherwise, it is difficult to run a business. Hope all of you understood what is process effectiveness. Six Sigma is an approach which will make sure the process effectiveness is at its best. It will make sure your effectiveness is close to 100%. You serve 100 coffees, all 100 customers will be happy. You produce 1,000 coffees, you offer 1,000 coffees, all 1,000 customers will be happy. This is the kind of effectiveness a Six Sigma process can give you. Six Sigma is not that much complex. We really have to understand why Six Sigma is required. Six Sigma is all about improving the capability of your process. Make sure your process remains capable always. Even something goes wrong, then also your process will remain capable. One day the chef is absent. Now the assistant chef is preparing the coffee. Then also business will run smoothly. This is the Six Sigma approach. This is this is why Six Sigma is required. And the next part of this workshop, what we call it as white belt, will clearly explain the statistical meaning behind why do we call it Six Sigma. What is the meaning of Sigma there? Why there is a 6 in front of Sigma? Why not 4 or 5? If I put 4 or 5 or 3, what will be, how it will be different from a Six Sigma process? Some of the black belts today cannot answer this question. But if you become a white belt, you will definitely be able to convince anyone about the meaning of Six Sigma, practical meaning of Six Sigma, statistical meaning of Six Sigma. And now comes process efficiency. You know what is process efficiency? Optimal utilization of the resources. What is required? You consume that much. In order to prepare an 100 ml of coffee, how much coffee powder I should put, right? How much sugar I should put. Everything is, a formula is available. If I actually utilize the exact amount of resources to prepare my coffee, My process is efficient. When I say resource, time is also a resource. For preparing a coffee, how much time is required? Only 43 seconds are required. How do I say 43 seconds? According to the SOP. According to the the way the resources are arranged, according to the way my workplace is designed. How much time it takes for me to prepare a fantastic coffee for you? 43 seconds. If you consume time more than 43 seconds, you will be considered inefficient. You will be considered inefficient. If you consume the exact amount of resources to achieve the desired level of effectiveness, your process is efficient, otherwise inefficient. If there is an inefficiency, that will be termed as waste. For example, a customer comes to your restaurant. You are making him to wait, for 45 minutes. Customer will get frustrated and then leave your restaurant. Your coffee is, fantastic, but you are making him wait for, 45 minutes. You have mishandled the resource called time. You are overcharging a customer. Again, you have mishandled some of the resource, and that's why, you are overcharging the customer. So all these forms of inefficiency are called wasteful activities, because what you are doing actually ended up driving dissatisfaction and frustration. So what you are doing is actually waste, isn't it? And inefficiency is termed as waste. The approach to reduce the waste, the approach to eliminate the waste is called lean. There are two things. The approach to reduce defect is Six Sigma. The approach to reduce waste is lean. If you wanted to be effective as well as efficient, super effective as well as super efficient, then you must integrate lean and Six Sigma and then deploy it as Lean Six Sigma. And from 2000 onwards, many of the companies who wanted to improve their quality, productivity, and reduce the cost, they have been integrating Lean and Six Sigma, and then they deploy it together. So because they knew that effectiveness can never be compromised, absolutely Six Sigma is always required. Because quality is very important to any customer, any business, any product. And none of you are going to listen to me if I really do not add value when you are listening to me, isn't it? So quality can never be compromised. We call it effectiveness. Effectiveness can never be compromised. At any cost, you should meet the expectation of the customer. That's called effectiveness. At the same time, if you could meet the expectation of the customer at a lower cost, that's called efficiency. So effectiveness cannot be compromised. At the same time, efficiency must be optimized. If you take care of the effectiveness, your products are great. Customer will start loving your product. They will buy your product. Revenue will flow. When you are super efficient, you are making sure minimum resources are utilized to achieve the effectiveness as per the expectation of the customer. Now your manufacturing cost is low. As a result, your profit will now improve. What do you want? You want revenue or you want profit? Or do you want both? I'm sure all of you will say you want both, isn't it? So that's why it's very important to keep an eye on both effectiveness part as well as efficiency part. Effectiveness can be measured in several ways. One way you can measure effectiveness is sigma level. Higher the sigma level, higher will be the effectiveness, nothing but the success rate. If you say your rejections are 5%, your success is 95%. 95% means, it is about 2 sigma process. You will understand this when you actually, attend the next module. All right. So effectiveness can be measured in terms of sigma level, in terms of success rate, in terms of failure rate, in terms of DPMO, in terms of PPM. It's all one and same. You should understand the logic. Six Sigma is not something, very unique. It does not come from, some another planet. Everything, came from here only. So we just have to understand it is a matured way of approaching quality. That's all. Right. And on the other side, efficiency can be measured using a metric called process cycle efficiency. In order to measure process cycle efficiency, you should have a clear definition of waste. You should have a clear understanding on the waste. Anything you do, if it drives dissatisfaction, what you are doing is waste. Anything you do, it doesn't add value. Customer, not bothered. no satisfaction, no dissatisfaction. Then also leans calls it as waste. If customer doesn't bother, why do you do it? If customer bothers, do it correctly. This thinking is called lean thinking. This philosophy is called lean philosophy. Hope it is clear to all of you. So what is lean? We have understood. Now, let us understand about the process improvement approach. See here, I have a process. I have a orange tree. Now, what is that I will get from the orange tree? I'll get orange fruits. But what my management want is, my management want apple. Tell me, will I be able to produce apple from the same tree? Definitely no. Orange tree can only give orange and never give apple. That means when you want to change the fruits, you must change the roots. Similarly, if your management wants better results, you must change the process, because same process can only give same result. How can you give a better result running the same process? That means every single day our job is process improvement. If you really don't understand, the terminology associated with the process improvement, the dynamics of process improvement, and how we can systematically improve a process, then growing in our career becomes a difficult job. This is the main reason, many professionals, they grow very slowly and become, a big shot at the age of retirement. If you could learn all these things at the right stage, even if you are just, entry-level professional, this thinking is very important for you. You can effectively collaborate with the leaders in the organization, because leaders think in a systematic, matured way. You can collaborate with them. If you know how to collaborate with them and how to discuss with them and how to win all the discussion, all the negotiation, you will win in your favor. You will obviously grow in your career. The discussion may be your interview. The discussion may be, a business discussion. Yes, you will be able to win it in your favor. This is what Six Sigma calls it as Y equal to F of X. This is what Six Sigma calls it as Y equal to F of X, which is a mathematical equation. Learning little bit of mathematics is good, nothing wrong. Generally, we all feel bad looking at maths, isn't it? But learning the maths is very interesting, and it is easier also with me, right? I can guarantee that. So Y equal to F of X, where what is Y? Y is the result our organization want to improve. Y is the problem, the quality issue, the problem associated with the quality of the product. Mathematically, Six Sigma is used to solve a complex problem. Not for every problem you require approach like Six Sigma. In order to solve every problem, you don't have to train your employees. There are simple problems which your employees are already capable of solving. But when a Six Sigma expert is required, when the problem is really a complex one. Complex one means root cause is not known. How the problem is happening, but problem is repeatedly happening. Every single day there is a problem. Problem is recurring in nature. Root cause is not known. Solution doesn't exist as on date. These are the situation which will demand Six Sigma experts, right? So whenever your problem is associated with the Y variable, because Y variable is a complex variable, because Y depends on several X. That's why I call Y as complex variable. Y depends on several X. The taste of the coffee is a complex variable. If you don't know how to prepare a coffee, the taste will be at its worst, isn't it? So the complex variable is mathematically called the dependent variable. I call it dependent variable because it depends on several other X factors. Because the taste of the coffee depends on the sugar, depends on the amount of coffee powder, depends on the amount of milk, depends on the brewing time, depends on the temperature, depends on the stirring time, depends on the mood of the chef. Everything is important. There are so many factors that finally decides the taste of the coffee. Now, what is the difference between this Y variable and X variable? Y variable is dependent, X variable is independent, which means without worrying about anything, you can change all the X variable directly. For example, you want to reduce the sugar, yes, you can reduce. You want to increase the sugar, yes, you can increase. But when I decrease or increase the sugar, my taste will, change automatically. I'm not changing. I'm only changing sugar. So that's why we call Y as dependent variable, X as independent variable. And when you are actually changing the X variable, what is your expectation? You want to tune your Y variable to reach the optimum value. I mean, the required value. For that, you should know the relationship that exists between X and Y variable. For example, when I put more sugar, the sweetness will increase. The relationship is positive. Increasing the sugar increases the sweet, isn't it? Increasing the coffee powder increases the strongness. So the relationship is known. If the relationship is known, decisions can be taken easily. A complex problem, will get broken down into a simple problem. And you can solve it. A simple meeting, a brainstorming with all your project team members, can generate multiple solutions for a problem which you thought, a very complex one. This is called, process-centric approach. This is called, process improvement, Y equal to F of X. Hope it is clear. So this particular slide is going to talk about the quality timeline. How all this thinking came. Long back, companies thought that, quality means skill of the employee. Then they realized we should be process-centric. So they standardized the process. They made that, they ensured the products are interchangeable. Interchangeable means I produce from different places, but when I assemble, it will serve the purpose. Different employees from different factories, different location, different suppliers. Everything is, there are multiple options. But in spite of, all the differences, my final product is same. That's called the concept of interchangeable parts. This is called Industry 1.0. Industry 1.0 is all about standardization. Then what happened? Industries, become little more mature. Though we standardized, though we have become process-centric, it's important we must be sure about the quality before sending it to the customer. Because when customer, looks at a failure in my product, that will kill my brand image. That will be more costlier than me finding the problem. So they started, doing a lot of quality control activities. They started checking the products before sending because they knew that the customers are anyway going to check. So they developed the gauges, calipers, so many things, right? And then quality inspectors, and they started checking. This level of maturity is 2.0. I'm sure all these companies nowadays definitely come up to this. But what is important? We should proceed further. We should not stop here. When you really wanted to proceed further, now you realize you require Lean Six Sigma. Because so far you are able to detect the problems. You are able to contain a problem. You are by checking, you detect a problem, you contain a problem, and then after containing the problem, what do? You do 100% inspection. Because if the sample is having a problem, how can you confidently dispatch your lot? Because the sample itself is having, a big problem. So you will doubt on everything you produced in the particular shift, and then you will go for the 100% inspection. And these are all, going to pull down your efficiency. So in order to be effective, at the same time super efficient, you should think of prevention and not correction. So the prevention mechanisms, the prevention methodologies, the prevention philosophies evolved. That if your company also equips the people to prevent failures, you have entered Industry 3.0. And Toyota and Motorola, they also came through these kind of transformation. And Toyota invented Lean. Actually, Toyota, they invented a system for themselves. That's called the Toyota Production System. We are going to talk. And Motorola, they invented a systematic approach to correct all their quality failures and prevent all their quality failures because they wanted their products to be completely defect-free. They were measuring the quality in terms of DPMO. The benchmark value set by Bill Smith and Michael Harry is 3.4 DPMO out of 1 million opportunities, right? And so the Six Sigma and Lean evolved from these companies. Toyota is the reason for the Lean, and Motorola is the reason for Six Sigma. And we are going to understand them very clearly. So this kind of revolution, transformation, if it happens in your company, yes, it is good for your company. A clear transformation and a good progress towards becoming operational excellence. Once your processes are equipped to produce defect-free item, And now you can think of automation, because you are very sure, no, there are no defects. Processes are highly capable. So less human intervention is required. Think of automation. If possible, think of digitization. This is what we call it Industry 4.0, right? Hope it is clear to all of you. Standardization, quality control, then defect-free mechanisms, then approaches, no, to prevent failures, not only correct failures. You can use it for both purpose. You can use it for both purpose, but the goal is to prevent failures, make your processes predictable and make your processes, consistently reliable. And then the automation and digitization. So every company nowadays is running towards automation and digitization, but definitely the transformation is required. And otherwise, jumping to a higher maturity level, may not be a great idea always.